Alright y'all, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. This is what I would do if Baby Keem gave me 1 hour to make a visual for him. His new album called
Casino
is
out now.
But he got a lot of the visual world out there. He put a cover art out, he put out some visuals, he did a little documentary. On top of that, he also put out a vinyl, I think. And all of this stuff is on his website, you can see here. He got his vinyl CD, his dice, his branding is out there, the Casino, his album called Casino. His website is called Booman. A lot of the visuals you see, it's based on this casino vibe, so definitely I'm gonna do something based on that. He has playing cards, it looks like. I'm gonna give myself this 1 hour timer and I'm gonna see what I can come up with. I'm not the greatest, I don't think I'm the best at making visuals, but I think putting the pressure on myself with this timer, I think I could come up with something decently cool. Hopefully I'm just gonna freestyle it. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but shout out to Baby Keem, and I really want to see what I can come up with in an hour. So let's get this timer going. Click. All right, 1 hour on the clock. I'm gonna put this timer to the side here. Yeah, so I was looking through his website. Immediately I downloaded some of the stuff I saw on his website, the casino text, and I had to really find like the dice and the playing cards that I wanted to build off of, because when I looked through his site, I saw that a lot of his stuff was based on casino items. So we saw the dice on his website, and we also saw that he had playing cards on his website. So I went into cgtrader.com. This is not a sponsor, by the way. If they want to sponsor me, I'd probably spend a lot of money on their website. But basically I went on this website and I searched up if they had a dice and if they had playing cards, a free model of course, because I'm not trying to spend money on this. Not that I'm cheap, but you know, you gotta save here and there. But it does take a little bit of time to find a free model for something like a playing card and dice, but I was eventually able to find it. One thing that I look for is I definitely want something newer, so some of the models would be like old, maybe 2020, 2021, but I prefer looking for a newer model because most of the time they're better set up in terms of their mesh. So I got a 2023 model for the dice and the playing cards from CG Trader, and yeah, I went ahead and I downloaded those. It definitely took some time to find, but once you do a little bit of digging, it gets a little bit easier. But yeah, so the dice and the playing cards of course was my base for what I wanted to create the visual off of, seeing as he had used a lot of the casino items, and also saw that his merch, he had a hand that he was using to throw the dice, so I definitely wanted to implement something like that. And this is when I really got into Blender, and of course I had to size down the dice because dice and playing cards cannot be the same size. And after I did this and I cleaned it up a little bit, I went into the textures of the playing cards and I customized them because of course it couldn't just be any regular playing cards. I noticed that the playing cards that he was selling on the website actually had his branding. So it had the Casino branding, which is his album name Casino, and on top of that branding it had like a yellowish tint and a stain on it almost on all of the cards. So I wanted to add all of that into the 3D model of the cards that I downloaded. So I spent a little bit of time working on that. Of course I didn't have a lot of time because I'm trying to do this in under an hour, so I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but I know this was like a small touch that would go a long way in the final visual that I was making. So yeah, so here I was pretty much just fixing the textures and playing around and trying to get the textures perfected and bringing that into Blender. It took a little bit of time to do this. I replaced like the ace card, the 10 card, and I would just go into Photoshop, and that's where I would edit the actual textures. So Photoshop is a tool that you can use when you're using Blender. Not many people know this, but to edit the actual textures on Blender, having Photoshop as something you have up and on the side is really helpful because you can go in and tweak the little details in the texture. So once you get that going, you can go ahead and bring that back into Blender, which I did, as you can see here. And this is when I got started on my actual animation. So I wanted the playing cards to trickle down into the screen and fall in one by one. So it was very simple animation. It wasn't nothing crazy. Of course, I'm trying to do something in under an hour. Like, it's so time constrained that I can't do too much of a heavy animation. So pretty much what I did was just had each card fall in one by one and trickle down. I would edit the rotation and make sure that it would flow in one by one smoothly. And I really wanted one of the cards to flip and show the casino text that I had added. So all right, so I got the dices. Is it dice or is it die? Okay, so I got the dices. I don't want to Google that right now, but I brought them into Blender. So once I had those into Blender, I just animated them real quickly, pretty much just editing the rotation of the dice and slowly have them pop into the camera. So that's all just like Z position editing. It's nothing crazy, like you literally just move the position towards the screen while also editing the rotation. I would explain all of this, but I feel like if you're watching this video, you might have some idea of Blender already, or you might not have an idea, but it's hard to like explain little details like that. But everything I'm doing really is super basic. Nothing I'm doing is crazy. A lot of it is just editing the position keyframe and the rotation keyframe. So you see I started rendering the cards out, and I don't think I'm gonna count the render time here because of course renders do take a long time and it really depends on the computer you have. So if I do count the render, that's kind of a little bit unfair to me because I feel like that time could really be used to edit. So I'm just not going to count the render. But right here you see the merch design that I actually based the animation out of, which is the hand throwing the dice into the screen. But obviously I built off that and I want to do something a little bit more. So what I actually did was I actually recorded my hand in front of a green screen, and what I did was did the dice throwing animation, which I know this looks crazy to do on screen and record myself doing, but luckily my face was not on the screen when I was doing this. So me doing the little dice throw, hopefully it is a little bit sus to record myself doing that, but it's what I had to do because I really wanted to get that feeling of the hand throwing the dice without actually having to search for a stock video of a hand. I feel like it's not too difficult for me to recreate myself. So I went ahead and I got my green screen and I recreated that hand throwing dice thing. But yeah, so once I had all the elements, I had the hand, I had the cards, and I had the dice animation, and all of it was rendered out. I brought all three of them into After Effects and I started compositing everything together. So what I did was pretty much I started off with the dice and cards and hand, and just what I wanted to do was really blend it all together, which is a lot of adjustment layers, to be honest. And of course the hand was in full color, but in the design I was basing it off of, the hand was black and white and it was threshold. So eventually I do edit the hand coloring, but what I did first off was just make sure the positioning of everything within the timeline was okay. So a lot of that is just adjusting the speed and pace. So I didn't want the hand to come in just randomly out of nowhere. Like I wanted everything to sequence together properly. So I started off with the cards falling down the screen. And after that is when I brought in the dice in the hand throwing the dice towards the screen. So one comes out to the other instead of just having everything on top of each other and making it all look like a mess. But yeah, so this is where I actually brought in the textures. So if you see the actual merch design, there's textures used a lot to blend in the hand and make the hand look much less plain, if you know what I mean. Because if it's just my hand on the screen, it's gonna look mad plain. It won't even look like a cool visual. So of course I had to bring in textures from a different edit I did previously. Luckily I had that and I just imported those textures in basically. And once I had those textures, I overlaid them on top of the hand. After I did that, of course I had to edit the actual hand to make it blend a little bit better. A lot of that is just editing the levels and putting a little film overlay. And I also used, I believe, Star Glow to make the hand sparkle because the album is called Casino and the album is giving like heavy, and all of his branding within the album rollout has been giving heavy, like sparkly, over the top vibes. Even his profile picture on Twitter is like super sparkly. But so yeah, I really wanted to get that across in the final visual. I went ahead and just added the casino text and put everything together and composited the final pieces, and I'm really happy with the final product that came out. It's not like a crazy long animation or edit, but I think for the time constraint, only having an hour to do this, I really wanted to push myself to do something cool with the album. So I think at the end of the day, I made something cool. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you, but I think for an hour edit, I think it's actually pretty cool. And maybe hopefully he sees this maybe he won't see this, but I'm a fan of Baby Keem's music, excited for the album, wanted to do a little video to commemorate the album dropping. This is something a little bit different. I haven't been really doing a lot of edited animation content, but this is something I do for a living, so I really want to incorporate that type of content into my YouTube channel. So if you did like this video, please leave a like and comment, and subscribe, of course, because that means a lot to me more than anything to keep making this type of video. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.